Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Ripper Productions podcast called the Ripper Pods. This is something that we've wanted to start for a while now. We've had it in the pipeline for ages and it's exciting to finally hit the record button on the camera and just starting recording an episode. We're not 100% sold on the name just yet. We do like it because it's a little nice play on the Ripper Productions name, but there's a few other names in the pipeline, so it might change, it might not. We'll soon see. But anyway, I'm your host, Morgan. I'm the owner and creative director here at Ripper Productions, where we help tradie businesses unlock their full potential by extracting their edge with video and photo content backed by a strategic strategy to help them reach their goals no matter what they are. And today we're just going to be diving into something very foundational about how things are at the moment in the digital marketing landscape, in the creative landscape, and just the consumer landscape in general. And that is why content is the most powerful currency that your business can have, and how you can leverage it right now to grow and scale your business, generate more income, to stop relying on referrals, and to just have a bit more consistency in your business. So we're not going to be focusing on just, getting views, getting likes, or going viral or anything like that. It is about content when used correctly and purposely. It's a sales tool, it's a brand awareness tool, it's a lead generation tool. It is just an absolute branding weapon that you can use 24/7 in your business and to just rapidly accelerate your growth and everything in between. So let me show you how. And I will preface this episode to say that because this is the first episode, it might be a little rough. Still experimenting with like a format and how we want to do this, especially when it's just me talking to the camera. It will be a lot different when eventually we get some guests on the show, some other business owners to share their stories, their experiences, their marketing tactics, strategies, tips and tricks that you can learn. Like, there's going to be so much value that other people can share, and I find that it would be a lot easier when I get to ask questions and listen a lot more, but when I have to do a lot more of the talking, which is something I'm not super used to doing. It's gonna take a while to get a bit more momentum and a bit more confidence and fluidity in what I'm saying. So please bear with me in this episode. So I've broken the episode and future episodes into sections just to help make it easier to follow and for the information to be easier to consume. So in the very first section that I want to talk about in this episode is sort of talk about why the old game is broken, why the old way is broken, which is word of mouth referrals, which is something that when we talk to some clients, some new leads, and we see a bit online that a lot of businesses still do rely on word of mouth referrals, and some, when we do speak to them, they're absolutely flat out in that point in time with referrals, but more often than not, they're going through a bit of a feast and famine cycle. So it's about trying to eliminate that inconsistency with word of mouth referrals, and we're not saying that they're not great, but there's just a few problems with them. So what we sort of want to talk about is why referrals aren't necessarily a good business strategy to grow your business. They're great and very good for a reward for the good work that you put in, but they're not a sustainable business strategy. And like I mentioned before, you've heard it all before. We've heard it before that I get all of my work and all of my clients through word of mouth, through referrals, which is great, but it's a very dangerous thing to actually rely on in your business. And that's purely because referrals are inconsistent, they're unpredictable, they can't necessarily generate good, high quality leads for your business. You could get a lot of time wasters through referrals, which if you're relying on them opposed to having a strong marketing strategy, sure, you're still going to get some bad leads, but if you're just relying on referrals and they're drip feeding into your business and you're just getting a lot of bad ones, it's just not good for business. And they slow down dramatically in those quiet months throughout the year, which could be completely detrimental to your business. And they really just depend on other people bringing up your name in a conversation. And it's almost like you're leaving your business's reputation and success in the hands of other people. You're not necessarily in control, which is just not a good feeling as a business owner. And that's something when I first started in business that I just didn't like and I didn't enjoy necessarily. And that's why we ventured into implementing new strategies into our business, which is what we try and help our clients with by sharing what we know with them. So like I said, the problem is you just have zero control with word of mouth referrals. You have zero control about the revenue that your business is bringing in, about the leads that are coming in and the work that you're doing. And it's just you're operating on pure luck. And that's not for everyone, but the majority of businesses are just operating on pure luck. And if it is one of those bad month hits that you find yourself in, like a rainy season, a quiet winter, a major client just pulls out at the last minute or something happens, which does happen in business, your pipeline pretty much disappears. There's no backup. There's nothing else that you have in place, no other systems to help bring in highly qualified leads into your business. And that can really hurt not only for the business, but for your personal life as well. It just has a negative impact in every aspect of your life. And this is something that we don't want to see. We don't want clients to experience. And that's why we're trying really hard, especially with this podcast series, is to just reframe that mindset around word of mouth referrals and other marketing and sales strategies as well. So if I can try and reframe your mind based on this, is that content is just a way to not only build your brand awareness, show off your projects, and create a perception around your business that appeals to your dream client, but content also keeps your pipeline visible, your pipeline even full, even when no one is talking about you, because of the reach that it has beyond what word of mouth referrals actually has. So that leads me into how the buyer's journey has changed, whether or not you like it. Like it might be a bit beyond my time from when I started running my own business and doing all of this, but I have a feeling like years ago that if someone needed something, they could pull out like the yellow pages or look at like a directory on the phone or something like that, and they could just easily find a business in the directory. I remember like my partner's dad had his own lawn mowing business, and I can't remember the name, but he picked like a name starting with A, so it was one of the first ones that you would see like in a directory under like landscaping or whatever it may be. So you want just one of the first people or businesses someone called when they needed something. And I feel that's how it sort of worked. Like if they needed something, they just pick up the call, ask for a quote, and then that's it. And then if it's they're happy with the quote, if it's within their budget, they pick you. But things have changed over time, especially with the dawn of social media platforms, new advertising platforms. What people are posting, content in general has just changed the way people think, feel, and act towards businesses. There requires a few more steps in a buyer's journey leading up to a purchasing decision based off how the social media platforms have just changed the business landscape for everyone. So the way that it sort of happens now is even if they get a word of mouth referral from a friend, a family member, or something like that, and those people praise your work, they still need to see evidence to be able to have trust that you can actually deliver on the work that they hope that you can do, and from what their family member or friend has told them about you. So first they'll check most likely Instagram, but say Meta in general, Instagram, Facebook, even TikTok. Then they compare you to the last job to someone else's. Then they might scroll Google reviews, they might stalk your website, they're going to do a range of different things to gather enough evidence that you are the right fit for them. 70% of all decisions, at least, is made before they even talk to you. So they're going down a full funnel of different stages until they come to a decision on, yep, you are the right person or the right business for me, my needs and my problem. I'll pick up the phone and have a conversation, get a quote, all of that. And if they don't find anything from you at all, from their process of searching to find a business to solve their problems, if they don't find anything from you, if they land on your social media profiles, there's no project highlights, there's nothing at all that provides value to them, you are off the list and they just keep scrolling. It is as simple and cutthroat as that. You might have seen some stuff if you are active on social media where you have about a 3-second hook to hook someone in before that's it. They just keep moving. So it's very cutthroat, and that's why it's more important than ever to really focus on having a bit of a content strategy within your business to be able to generate a steady pipeline of leads and clients, as well as have a pipeline that is visible for people to actually build trust with you, and you can build authority with them and just make yourself the no-brainer decision for them to hire you for their job. So the reality is simple. Invisibility online in 2025, and I'm sure well into the future, will make you only look outdated. It won't build trust with your target audience. It will make you super unreliable. And even worse, at the end of the day, it could be something that is the difference between you being in business and out of business. So simply put, visibility creates perceived value amongst any purchaser, any online user. The brain equates familiarity with safety, and people trust brands that they see more often than not. And if you sort of don't believe me on this, just maybe think about your own consumer behaviors. For example, if you hear ads on the radio, if you see ads on TV, if you see content online about specific brands, it could be tools, clothing, anything like that, and you constantly see them come up on your feed, sharing all types of content, whether it's entertaining, educational, stuff like that. And then down the line, if you think, oh man, I need another pair of like work pants, you're instantly going to think of brands that you have seen online first. Whether that's, for me, I think of Hard Yakka, and I think of FDX, I think it is, and just brands like that. And that's what I mean. The brain equates familiarity with safety, and people trust brands more the more they see them. So if you show up with regular high quality content for your business, whether, it could be shot on your phone, professional camera with people like us, it doesn't matter. Your perceived value will just skyrocket over time the more you are consistent with the output of content that you're putting out, whether that's photos or videos. And as long as there's a bit of purpose and direction behind it, and it's not just completely random, it still has to meet a certain criteria of tick boxes in a client's journey from a awareness stage down into a decision-making stage. That means with that, you can charge more to your clients, you can close deals faster, and you can just attract better clients to your business the more that you actually put out and the more that you're actually consistent with those efforts. So if it is overwhelming to you, like if you are one of these business owners who just does not like posting to social media, and we get it, like 100% we get it, that you have 1,001 different things that you need to do within your business every single day, whether that's admin, watching out for your team, chasing leads, like whatever it may be. And like social media is just one thing that you just do not want to do. You can start with just one platform. I recommend starting with Instagram. And then if you do have an existing client base and people that you've worked with before, just get some reviews off them and some testimonials if you can, whether like just through email or text or whatever that may be, just so you can use them for like Google reviews to help with like your Google rankings. And just maybe post 1 to 3 times a week. Just take some photos on your phone, a few quick videos of a before and after transformation, something along those lines. There's plenty of examples on social media if you just search for businesses within your niche just to get a bit of inspiration and just start getting yourself out there and just start staying a little bit visible. That alone puts you literally in the top 10 to 15% of your competitors who, if you could map out all of your competitors and you actually searched what they were doing, you'd probably find quite confidently that a lot of them aren't posting to social media at all. They're doing the same thing you are. So in a way, you do have an advantage and an edge. And if you can get in front of that and get in front of more eyeballs of your dream clients, like I said, it can help you close more deals, generate more high converting clients. It can really change your life for your business and your personal life if you just start doing something and putting one foot in front of the other. So section 2, we're going to move into why is content now the currency of how people consume, people make purchasing decisions, and just the world that we live in. And I think, from my humble opinion, most businesses treat content like a creative thing, which is cool, it's great. But in terms of business, we've got to see content as a sales tool. That's the big mistake that I think a lot of people are making, is that you have to be super creative with it, and it's got to be, look amazing, which it does. It still has a purpose, but there's too much emphasis put on that. When you have to start seeing it as a sales tool that can help you actually change your business, generate more leads and sales. So content removes risks for the customer. That's what we do when we develop our content strategies with our clients. In our pitch deck, it's a very brief overview, but when we actually have a game plan session, we always focus on how can we make the content we create through different stages of the buyer's cycle or the buyer's funnel, how can we remove as much friction and risk for the customer as possible? So when it comes to the buying time, when it comes to that decision, it is a no-brainer for them to want to pick that client to work with. So when they see how you work, how you speak, how you act, all those sorts of things, what you care about, they start trusting you way before they even start getting on the call with you. And then when they do get on the call with you, it's like you're just a familiar friend. It's like they've known you for so long now. They feel so much more relaxed and comfortable talking to you. And when you start talking to them and it's the same as what you perceive yourself online, it just reinforces everything they've thought about you, and your close rate to be able to get them as a client will just increase dramatically. So, and in competitive industries like even what we do, I'm sure like what you do as well, industries like what we are in, trust helps win more jobs. It's as simple as that. The more trust you can build with a potential client, the absolute better. And the way you do that is now, unfortunately, for people who don't like doing it, you have to show up online. So the beauty about content opposed to word of mouth referrals is content works while you sleep. It is one thing that will just always operate 24/7, 365 days of the year. You can't knock on doors 24/7. You can't cold DM, cold email, reach out, cold phone call, walk around door knocking. I think I said that already. But content does. Even if you post something, say today, and you might look at the views and it's only reached 200 people. But that's not to say next week another 100 people have looked at it. And 1, 2, 10, 20 of those 100 people might be people ready to buy. It's always there. It's always living on your profile, and it always has the potential to reach new audiences and your dream client. That is the beauty of it. And it takes less time and it takes less effort than to make some photos and some videos opposed to, like what I said before, door knocking, cold DMing, cold emailing, all of that sort of stuff. So an Instagram story even can actually show you on site and then make someone want to DM you the very next day or even that day. That's how ridiculous it can work for your business when done right. So think of content like digital real estate. It lives online, it works continuously, and it compounds over time the more you do it. So content compounds like investments. Most people just simply give up only posting a few times because they're not getting the instant gratification that I've done the effort, I've made the video, I've posted it, nothing's happened straight away, which is a trap a lot of us fall into. I've fallen into that trap a lot of times with my own content. I've seen friends do it. I've seen a lot of people do it. When we take a step back and you look out, it's the people who remain consistent, who have the long game in mind. They're the ones that actually win because they just have a long-term goal opposed to short-term gains. So simply, if that doesn't make any sense, it's like going to the gym for literally 2 weeks and questioning why you just aren't shredded yet, if that's something that you want. But if you post every 3 to 6 months and suddenly you've got a trust library of content aimed at your dream clients, your feed is just full of social proof with like testimonials and case studies that just reinforce what people need to hear about you. A brand that people just recognize when you show up on their feeds, when they're just doom scrolling, and you have an organic system that just creates organic inbound leads. And then if you combine that with a paid advertising strategy, you don't have that feast or famine cycle anymore. You don't have that inconsistency anymore. You don't have that unpredictability anymore. You have 2 streams of leads coming into your business, which you can just figure it out for yourself, which would just be a game changer. You just have all of this consistency and you can actually focus on the future of your business and where you want to go, opposed to losing sleep at night, wondering how you're just going to put food on the table by the end of the week. So a bit of an example, a builder client of ours posted weekly project updates. They were very busy with some really big projects. And about after 4 months, where we created a series of transformation videos showing each stage of the build and the transformation, these clients, they were sending multiple sort of updates on what was actually happening with that content, which was really great. And you could actually see a lot of the jobs being booked in off the back of keeping up with like these people in the area, seeing like a video series, like a TV show of these updates, because they ran it not only as an organic post, but they would also send it out in emails, and they would also actually put some paid advertising behind it as well. And they didn't change the offer. They didn't change anything like that. The only thing that just happened was that they just got more reach and visibility with their projects, which led to more high ticket booked in jobs, which is absolutely amazing to hear. So we're talking a little bit about why it's important. So I'll kind of want to just touch on, which we'll go into a bit more depth in later episodes, is like the 3 types of content that you sort of really need for your business that will establish like a solid foundation for you to build your brand awareness on and start building a bit more trust and provide a bit more value with what you're doing. And like I've said, I think I mentioned before that like a lot of businesses just post really randomly. There's no purpose, there's no strategy or tactics behind it. It's just more of a, I'm going to throw something up because I haven't posted in like 2 weeks and I just got to put something up, which you can imagine does not yield any results, and it's just super inconsistent. So here's sort of a little bit of a system that we use here at Ripper Productions. And it's a little bit of what we call like a trust triangle. And the first one is authority content. That's one that we like focusing on a lot because, like I mentioned throughout this pod so far, it's sort of the trust that builds that safety with your dream clients and entices them more to want to work with you when they're ready. You just become top of mind. It's essentially establishing credibility. So the purpose of it, simply, prove that you know your stuff. Build confidence with your target audience. So some examples that I've just got written down here. Here's why we only use X over Y. Cheaper options don't last in this condition. Here's some things what to ask before hiring a tradie. Our quoting system explained in 60 seconds. Things like that. So use educational carousels or like Instagram videos or just a static image, whatever you feel comfortable creating with the resources that you obviously have, just to get started. There's simple video editing software like Instagram have just released their platform Edits, which is a free video editing tool by Instagram, which you can use. And you can just get these shared and saved and as more often than like just sharing sales posts. Because that's one thing you don't want to keep pumping out is just captions and posts with like just an offer with discounts with, if you buy by the end of the day, we'll give you this. And it comes across as very desperate, unprofessional, and you're only in it for the sale. You're not in it to build a relationship, which is what consumers now want. They want to have relationships with people. They want to be able to trust people. They want to be a part of the journey as well. And that's why the tactics behind creating and sharing content has to change. So the next one is trust content. This is more of showing the human side of the business, showing a face behind the logo, essentially. So the purpose is to remove any fear or any doubts that these consumers or your dream clients have about you and build likability. It's as simple as that. So here's some examples. You could do site walkthroughs with your team in a very authentic way. You could just be talking to the camera selfie mode, or you could have one of your team members just following you with a phone while you explain different parts of the site as you're walking around it. You could share daily stories of jobs in progress. This is what I mentioned before about just sharing a 10 to 30 to 60 second story on your Instagram about what you're doing today. Here's what we're doing, etc. Because you might be the same, but my consumer process is when I open Instagram, I actually don't instantly start scrolling through the feed. I actually look at the first like 6 to 12 stories at the top for like my little dopamine fix, but my little like, what are people up to today? Because it feels more authentic and real than a post, because with a post, you know, you can spend some time curating it and making it perfect. But with a story, a lot of the time it's just very on the spot, just natural, authentic and real, which is what I like. And it's what your dream clients like as well. You could post time-lapse videos. Again, your phone can do this really, really well. You can mount it to a wall, buy a little tripod off Amazon. Resources and things, tools are just so easy to access. But yeah, time-lapse videos to show like a full process of something happening throughout the day. It's great for like tradies like landscaping, still building if you're doing like maybe smaller projects and like, yeah, construction, plumbing, stuff like that. And then definitely meet the team videos are a great trust builder. Like I said, it's putting a face behind the brand, a face behind the logo. Just show who's behind the tools. Let these dream clients of yours in, let them into your world and let them know you as more than just a contractor. Let them in as more of a friend. And again, that will just help build trust with them. Simple. And then lastly, sales ready content. Of course, sales ready content does have a purpose in the triangle. It just can't be the triangle itself. And the idea of this is to guide them to a specific action. So simply, the purpose of sales ready content is to convert interest into paid jobs. Some examples are, here's how our 3 packages work. Got a renovation coming up? Here's how to get started with us easily. And the best one, client testimonials with real people with real reactions. It just goes back to the whole word of mouth thing. Like, people still value the opinions of others, but you're not relying on it necessarily to now get you a job, a lead coming in. It is now in the part of the funnel where it's just that reinforcing point that the dream client have already made pretty much a decision about you based off the other parts of the triangle and the content from the triangle and other parts of the funnel. Now, all this testimonial and case studies is just to give them that little extra nudge to pick up the phone, that last little nudge. That's all they need. That, oh my God, people like me who are thinking the same way about me as this business. it's confirmed, I'm going to pick up the phone and give them a call. So you need a strong CTA, which is a call to action in these types of posts, like to obviously get them to take the action. Give them specific details. So you'll see in some of our content, some of our ads, we do have these specific actions. So some that I've got here, we're booking for June. There's only 3 spots left. Call now if you'd like to claim your spot. And clear next steps. Make it a DM if you just want to deal with people in your DMs. Book a call, or click. And I say this because in our system, and this is something we help our clients with, is we like building out different systems. So you could have a DM or Instagram DM automation system. So we could run some stories, some posts, and if someone takes a CTA, takes an action on that, it could be DM on Instagram. And then they enter a funnel, enter a system where we can nurture them even further to help them become a paid client or give out a free resource or something along those lines. Either way, no matter what the call to action is, you have to be very purposeful and specific on what you need them to do. Don't create more than one call to action. You don't want to confuse them where they just don't know what to do next. It has to be super clear, super simple to understand, and very direct on what they need to do next. So just as a quick reminder, you're not annoying people by selling to them. You're just helping them take the next action that they need to follow in the funnel from all the other things that they've seen prior. So a bit of a real world impact on what this system, so to say, has helped some of our clients with. So we've worked with a Direct Connect Electrical, and we've documented a new aircon install by a brand or company, I should say, called Haya at Joondalup Resort. And they didn't really have at the time a lot of a content strategy. They used to do some videos, but it dropped off and they were a bit inconsistent. And we came on board to document this whole install job, from the removal of the old units to the complete install of the new ones. And the purpose of that is to build some brand videos that can just show and highlight their capabilities a bit more, their experience on the job, working with the different contractors, and just the benefits of what these systems will provide a business like Joondalup Resort or a location like Joondalup Resort, with the goal that we're going to attract more leads and clients similar to Joondalup Resort who want these bigger commercial aircon fit outs. So we created a plan, created a strategy. We shot all of the BTS, we shot the projects, the install breakdowns, the customer reactions, the client reactions, not only for Joondalup Resort themselves, because that is very important to capture as part of testimonial content, but also from Haya themselves on what it was like working with Direct Connect and their experience doing this. Because I can't remember if I actually did mention this. This was actually the first of these installs in Australia. They've only installed one like this in New Zealand, but this is the very first in Australia. So it's a pretty big deal. So we definitely wanted to capture that. And their inquiries have actually increased a lot from the publication of these videos. The videos got a standing ovation by the head of Haya, the board, or whatever they're called over in China. Got a standing ovation. They couldn't be happier with the outcome of the actual install, which is great, because then when they have more projects through Western Australia, Direct Connect Electrical will be the ones that they continue to contract out for these jobs, because of the proof that they have seen of the work they've done through the videos that we have created. And now we've got a bit of momentum on content that we need to move forward with other projects to keep up the consistency of being able to attract their dream clients of this caliber into the business. So a bit of a final takeaway on this episode is that if you're still treating content like only when I have time, if I can be bothered, if I have to activity kind of thing, you're leaving a lot of revenue, a lot of opportunity and potential on the table for your competitors to actually take away from you, which is what you don't want. Content isn't like a luxury. It's your new salesperson, and it's your new sales team. It's your digital storefront, your proof of work, your authority builder, and your trust pipeline, all wrapped up in one package. So your next steps, if I was to give you some action steps to take away from this episode, audit your last 12 posts of what you've done and really ask, are they building trust with my audience, or are they just filling up space? How often am I really posting here? What am I posting? Create one authority, one trust, and one sales ready post for the next 2 to 4 weeks, and do one post one post for each part of the triangle every single week for the next month. So you need to do one creative post, one authority post, one trust post, and one sales ready post each week for 4 weeks. And don't focus on necessarily wanting to go viral or getting heaps of likes or comments or anything like that. Focus on consistency, providing some value, and just being visible across your profile and just building up that momentum. And if you're thinking, this sounds absolutely great, but I don't have time to plan, shoot, edit, post, or anything like this, well, that's where we can definitely come in. Like I said, we help tradie businesses build out systems, create highly engaging video and photo content for our clients with the goal of reaching their goals. So if you do still have problems, if you still need some help, some advice, some points to move forward with, send us a message, leave a comment below, send us a DM, and we will be more than happy to have a conversation and talk to you further about how we can help you and your business. I didn't want to make this that was a little throw in at the end, to be honest, because I was like, I don't really want to have like a call to action like that, but I still think it's important. Like, it's not necessarily in terms of selling, but we just generally care about helping. And even if it's just sending a DM with a question or two, we'll be more than happy to just give you our best answers possible and help you move forward or help you overcome some roadblocks you may have. So whether you're watching on YouTube, you can just leave a comment. We can reply to the comment and redirect you to somewhere that we could help you a bit more easily and more efficiently. If you see the clips on Instagram, just send us a DM. We'll respond to you in the DMs. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning into episode 1 of the Ripper Pod. Hope it was super valuable. Hope it helped create some clarity and some sort of motivation to stop seeing content as only if I have time, but as more of an essential part of your team. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the very next episode. Thank you.